You can keep your chocolate chip and you can keep your sugar cookies. As for me and mine, I love an oatmeal cookie. First, we're going to start with 2.5 cups of oats, and then we're going to come right in behind that with 3/4 cup of almond flour. Now, you can use regular self-rising if you want to. 100% up to you. Next up, we're going to put in 1/4 cup of sugar, just regular old white granulated sugar, easy peasy. Then we're going to come in with just a little bit of baking powder, just a teaspoon. We don't want to go crazy with it because this isn't really a leavened recipe. Next, we got nutmeg, we got allspice, and we got, of course, ginger. We're going to add all 3 of these in. It's not really a measuring thing as much as just a dash. Just kind of sprinkle it in there until it looks like it's about right. Just eyeball it. You know how we do. Beautiful. Now that with those 3 in, we're going to come in with the mother of all, the cinnamon. There you are. I like putting in a little extra of that. How about that for a surprise? A little bit of ground black pepper. We're going to put all these together, and these are our dry ingredients. Make sure that we do a real good blend of those before we start getting into our wet ingredients. We want to make sure that all those powders and spices go into all of those oats, just to make sure that it's all really well blended before we start getting wet with it. Now then, here we come with 1/4 cup of milk, just a little bit of that. And then we've got just a touch of maple syrup, probably about a tablespoon, maybe 2. Then we're going to have just a little bit of our imitation vanilla. Now, if you're using extract, you might want to go a little bit easier on it. But for us today, we're going to be going ahead and using a tablespoon of it. Pardon me, teaspoon, excuse me. Now then, we're going to take 1 egg, medium to large is fine. Put that right in there with it. And that's going to be the final bit of our wet ingredients. Now, you can either blend it with a whisk or a spatula, but I kind of love using a hand mixer. It's just a lot easier, a lot faster. These don't give quite a satisfying outcome as far as the hand beater goes, just because you can't really lick the beaters with an oatmeal cookie. It just doesn't make a whole lot of a wet batter. So, I mean, it does blend very quickly, but as far as like a treat once you're done, it really doesn't go out so well. That's the only downside I can find to an oatmeal cookie. Now, you may have noticed one very important omission. We left out the raisins. But that's all right, because we got a little something special that we're going to use instead. Now, bring in your spatula here just to make sure that nothing gets stuck to the walls of the bowl, okay? Because we got one last ingredient to add before we get ready to bake them up, okay? Great. Now then, what we're going to do is we're going to shred 2 cups of carrots to put in here. I wish you'd look at that, how beautiful. If anybody out there loves carrot cake, that is a close second for favorite for me for a baked good. I love oatmeal cookies, and I do love me some carrot cake. So you add that in there, and then you just get a real good fold going with that spatula. Beautiful, just to make sure that all of those ingredients are blended just as well as we could possibly make them. Now, those shredded carrots aren't going to do so great as far as blending in, but they will get a relatively good balance after a minute. Now we're going to bring out our baking sheet, and we're going to get our scoop, and all we're going to do is literally just scoop out that batter. Medium to a large scoop is going to be fine for these because as they bake, they're not necessarily going to spread. What they're going to do is just solidify a little bit and maybe settle. So what we're going to do is just go ahead and put those on there. We've preheated the oven to 350 degrees. And I figure about 15 to 20 minutes and you'll be done just right as rain. So we're going to go ahead and scoop out the very last of these, put them in there for about 1/4 of an hour. Keep an eyeball on them. They don't cook up like a regular soft batter cookie will, but whenever they come out, woo, eat up, y'all.